am I really supposed to be here? If I was smart, I would already know this. Am I even good enough to do this? Imposter syndrome tells us that we are not enough. It is this pattern of thinking that we are not worthy of success despite evident success. It stems from self-doubt, constant comparison, and believing that our achievements aren't really valid. If you have ever felt this, I want you to know that you are not alone. Imposter syndrome is very real. Hey there, I'm Jenny and this is First Gens Get Degrees. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing 4 strategies to overcome imposter syndrome so we can get you out of imposter land and into confidence land. So let's get into it. Strategy number 1 to overcome imposter syndrome is to get yourself a hype group. So this is a network of support, whether it's mentors, friends, teachers, 1 or 2 individuals that you know you can reach out to on your bad days, and they can remind you of how great you are. If you are anything like me, I have a habit of not reaching out and withdrawing from the world when I'm having a bad day. I like to just sit in my own bubble, stay in my own lane, but honestly that just makes things worse. So I've really been trying to get into the habit of reaching out when I start to notice that pattern of thinking of like I can't do this, I'm not good for blah 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 blah. I get my phone and I call my friend and I go, hey Seti, I'm not having a good day. Today's just, it's rough. Can you help me? And honestly, I always, 100% always feel better. But if you're reaching out to a friend and she or he is just making you feel worse, it's time to cut them out. Bye. And get a new friend. You want people that can speak life into you, that can uplift your spirit on a bad day. And if they're not doing that, then bye-bye. Second strategy to overcome imposter syndrome is to build a toot sheet. So what is a toot sheet? A toot sheet is a resource of all of your accomplishments and achievements over the years. It helps you separate feelings from facts, because on those days that you are feeling not so great, you grab your toot sheet and you remember, oh wow, I was on the dean's list for 2 consecutive semesters. Oh wow, I was a transfer leader and I really helped students create a sense of belonging. Wow, I submitted my research paper 2 weeks before the due date. So you need a toot sheet so you can remind yourself, oh wow, I am all that. And a bag of chips. And from experience as a first-generation college student, I was not the best at tooting my own horn. So let's say if I led a group project, I would say collaborated with peers instead of saying spearheaded the group project. And so it's so important that you do not minimize your accomplishments. If you did something, make sure that you are taking credit. You can still be humble and toot your own horn at the same time. And that's a whole nother video for another time. But remember to own your accomplishments and be proud of all that you've done. And make sure that as you continue on your college journey, that you write down everything that you have done. Because I promise you, you are amazing. But we forget about all of the great things that we do. We tend to remember what we didn't do versus all the great things that we did. So get yourself a toot sheet. Third strategy to overcome imposter syndrome is to stop all negative self-talk. Our thoughts and how we talk to ourselves, it's so powerful. It can either make us feel insecure, make us have more self-doubt, or it can take us to confidence land. So be careful with the words that you say to yourself, the thoughts that you think. As I said in my last video, the thoughts that we think become feelings, and these feelings then become actions. So if I start thinking, I'm not smart, then I'm going to start feeling insecure. I'm going to start feeling very doubtful of myself, and I'm not going to give it my best shot at school or on certain assignments or exams, because I've already ingrained myself to believing that I'm not that smart. So challenge for you, go throughout your day, and anytime a negative thought comes to your mind, I want you to write it down. Write it down on a journal that you have or on your phone, and keep track of all of the negative things that you tell yourself. So if it's not positive, it's negative. It could be, oh, why didn't I do this? Or I'm not fit for this. I shouldn't be in this class, blah, 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 blah. So write all of that down. And I don't say this so at the end of the day you can be reminded of it all over again. No, I say this so at the end of the day you can see how all of these thoughts can affect your performance as a student, as an individual. So I did this little activity, and I realized that I am a bully to myself. Bully. That reminds me of the bullies that we would eat as children. You know what I'm talking about? Bullies. Anyways, I'm a bully to myself. I'm not very nice. And so now doing this activity has helped me become more aware of my thinking. So metacognition, that's thinking about thinking. And so when you write down these thoughts, the next time that this idea of self-doubt wants to come in, you'll be able to catch it before it turns into a feeling, and you'll be able to say, nope, I am worthy. I am supposed to be in college. I am supposed to have this scholarship. Throwing this thought away into the trash. Cut it. Bye-bye. Thoughts turn into emotions, and emotions turn into feelings, and feelings turn into actions. So if we can grab that thought and throw it in the bin before it turns into an action, then we will become better at dismantling all of these lies that we tell ourselves. So when these negative thoughts start to come into play, I want you to have some affirmations ready to rebuttal those thoughts. So what I usually say is, let's say I'm going to fail this test because I am not smart. I am not supposed to be in college. I go, I am worthy, I am smart, and I am good enough to be here. Have something ready to rebuttal those thoughts, because unfortunately we are human. We aren't always going to be nice to ourselves and show grace and kindness, although we should, but it's not always going to happen. And so when those bad days happen, you have resources and tools in your toolbox to fight those thoughts. Last but not least, my fourth strategy to overcome imposter syndrome is to learn to love the art of failure. Failure is going to happen. We are human, we make mistakes, and no one is perfect. Once you accept that, you will be less afraid of failing. I, for so long, have lived in this safe lane, never really going outside of my comfort zone, never really trying anything because I was afraid of failing, because failure to me meant rejection, and I do not like rejection. If every single time you stop because you failed or because you are afraid of failure, you are going to miss out on a world of opportunities. The world is going to miss out on all that you have to offer. You have a set of skills and gifts that the world needs to see, and if you allow failure to dictate your choices, gosh, we're gonna miss out on a lot. This world needs you. So think of failure as an opportunity to learn. Try to do something every single day that makes you uncomfortable. Try to fail. And the more you do it, the more you become comfortable with failure. And fear should never stop you from advancing. If you're afraid of failing, the only way of getting better is to continue to try. Let fear be there, but do it anyway. This topic is very near and dear to my heart because it is something that I have struggled with all of my life, and I still struggle with it to this day. As a first-generation college student, I went to a predominantly white institution, and I was surrounded by peers who didn't look like me, didn't have a similar background. They went to private high schools and had private SAT tutoring and piano lessons, and I didn't come from that world. And so I constantly felt like I shouldn't be here. I'm not meant to do college. This isn't right for me. And I had to work really, really hard to fight those beliefs and those thoughts and to actually really come to terms that I am enough. I am successful. I can do this. I can do anything I put my mind to. And I want you to know the same thing, that you can do it. You are supposed to be here. You are worthy of receiving an education of quality. You are capable of doing it all. You can do this. Si se puede.
You is smart. You is kind. You is important.
So I know from personal experience the negative effects that imposter syndrome can have, but I also know how empowering it is when we do the work to dismantle the lies that we tell ourselves. So I hope these 4 strategies helped you. If they did, let me know in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe or share this with a friend who you think would benefit from watching this video. So when imposter syndrome starts calling, honey, do not call it back. 3rd strategy is, me or share a similar story. That freaking beep, I forget to put my phone on silent. 3rd strategy to overcome, what am I talking about?